Ladies and gentlemen, listen up. Because if you're sitting there scrolling through your feed, wasting another hour on nonsense, you're already losing the war for your own life. I'm Andrew Tate, and today, I'm here to slap you awake, upgrade yourself daily. That's not some fluffy motivational poster quote. That's a battle cry. Every single day, you either level up or you decay. The world doesn't reward the weak, the lazy, the ones who hit snooze on their potential. It crushes them. So why are you still playing small? Imagine this. A lion doesn't wake up wondering if it'll hunt today. It just does. You're built for the same dominance, but you're choosing chains instead of crowns. Hook number one, if you're not upgrading yourself daily, you're downgrading your entire future. Let's break this down and arm you with the weapons to win. First off, understand the matrix they're trying to keep you in. Society wants you comfortable, complacent, glued to your screen while your dreams rot. But upgrading yourself daily means declaring war on that mediocrity. Start with your body, because a weak body breeds a weak mind. Hit the gym like your life depends on it, because it does. Push iron, sweat out the excuses, build that armor of muscle and discipline. I didn't become a top G by accident. I forged myself in the fire of daily reps, turning pain into power. Hook, every rep you skip is a step closer to being average, and average men die broke and forgotten. Fuel your machine right, ditch the junk, eat like a king who conquers kingdoms. Your body is your vehicle to escape the 9-to-5 prison. Treat it like the Ferrari it is, or watch it break down on the side of the road to nowhere. Now, level up your mind, because knowledge is the ultimate weapon in this game. Read books that expand your empire. Not fairy tales, but blueprints from warriors like me who've built fortunes from nothing. Study finance, strategy, psychology. Devour it daily like it's oxygen. The average fool thinks success is luck. The elite know it's engineered through relentless learning. Hook, if you're not feeding your brain every day, someone else is feasting on your opportunities. Cut the noise. Delete the apps that dope you on dopamine hits. Replace them with podcasts that sharpen your edge. Meditate, visualize your throne, affirm your dominance. Mental upgrades aren't optional. They're the difference between being a pawn and becoming the king who topples boards. Don't stop at body and mind. Upgrade your network, because isolation is the death of ambition. Surround yourself with winners, not whiners. Cut toxic ties like dead weight. Seek out alphas who push you harder. I built my circle of champions by being one first, daily outreach, value exchanges, collaborations that multiply wealth. Hook, your network is your net worth. Upgrade it daily or stay stuck in the mud with the losers. And money, that's the scoreboard. Learn to invest, hustle side gigs, turn time into assets, wake up early, grind while the world sleeps, and watch your bank account upgrade from pocket change to power moves. Daily financial discipline isn't greed. It's freedom from the chains of poverty. Finally, upgrade your spirit, because without fire inside, you're just going through motions. Face your fears head on. Rejection, it's fuel. Failure, it's feedback. I rose from the ashes of losses because I upgraded through the pain, turning scars into stories of supremacy. Hook, the man who upgrades daily doesn't fear the storm. He becomes the storm. Commit to this ritual. Review your day. Audit your wins and weaknesses. Plan tomorrow's conquests. No excuses. No days off in the pursuit of greatness. Imagine this. You're standing at the edge of your potential, staring down a life of excuses and mediocrity, but one choice away from becoming unbreakable. Hook one, your body isn't just flesh and bone, it's the fortress that guards your empire, and if it's weak, everything crumbles. As Andrew Tate, I've learned the hard way that true power starts in the gym, not the boardroom. Wake up at dawn, lace up those shoes, and storm the weights like you're declaring war on weakness itself. Every squat, every deadlift, every bead of sweat is a rebellion against the soft, comfortable lie that you can succeed without sacrifice. I've built my physique not for mirrors or likes, but as armor for the battles ahead. Because a man who can't lift his own burdens will never carry the weight of greatness. Push beyond the burn, where most quit and label it good enough. Hook two, if you're not sore tomorrow, you didn't earn your spot at the top today. Professional dominance demands a body forged in fire, compound movements that sculpt raw strength, high-intensity intervals that spike your endurance, and progressive overload that turns limits into launch pads. I remember training through injuries, ignoring the doubters who called it obsession, because obsession is the currency of champions. Fuel this machine with precision, lean proteins that rebuild muscle like bricks in a skyscraper. greens that detox the poison of poor habits, and hydration that keeps the engine roaring. Ditch the processed garbage peddled by the weak. Your diet isn't a suggestion, it's a strategy for supremacy. Track your macros, measure your progress, and watch how a disciplined body sharpens your focus, boosts your confidence, and silences the inner voice whispering defeat. Now elevate this to elite levels. Incorporate mobility work to stay agile like a predator in the wild, ready to strike without hesitation. Hook 3. A flexible warrior outmaneuvers the rigid fool every time. Neglect recovery, and you'll break before you break through. Sleep 8 hours minimum, because restoration isn't laziness, it's reloading for the next assault. I've coached men who transformed from couch potatoes to commandos by committing to daily rituals. Morning fasted cardio to incinerate fat. Evening stretches to maintain that predatory poise. This isn't vanity, it's vital. A sculpted physique commands respect in rooms where deals are made, negotiations won, and legacies built. Women notice, opportunities gravitate, and adversaries hesitate because power radiates from a frame that's been upgraded relentlessly. Challenge yourself with variety to avoid plateaus. Mix in calisthenics for functional grit, heavy bag work for that explosive edge. Hook 4, stagnation is the silent killer of alphas. Evolve your routine weekly or watch your gains evaporate like morning mist. I've pushed my limits in Bugattis of iron, turning personal trainers into spectators because excuses are for the enslaved. Measure success not by scales, but by how you move through life. Effortless, unyielding, a force that parts crowds. Surround your workouts with mindset fuel, playlists of conquest anthems, visualizations of your throne. This daily forge isn't optional. It's the foundation where mental toughness is hammered out alongside biceps. Men who skip it, they fade into obscurity, bodies bloating with regret. Commit now, grab that barbell, feel the calluses form as badges of honor. Hook 5, every day you delay, someone else seizes the strength you could have claimed. As Tate, I live this truth. A weaponized body propels you through doors the average can't even knock on. Picture this. Your mind as a rusted blade in a world of sharpened swords, dull and forgotten while others carve paths to power. Hook 1, ignorance isn't bliss. It's the invisible handcuffs chaining you to a life of scraps when empires await. As Andrew Tate, I've clawed my way from the shadows by treating my brain like a high-performance engine, revving it daily with premium fuel or watching it sputter into irrelevance. Start your conquest at first light. Grab a book that's not fluff but firepower, strategies from Sun Tzu to modern moguls, mindsets that dismantle the matrix of mediocrity. Read voraciously, 30 pages minimum, absorbing tactics on negotiation, psychology, and wealth creation because knowledge isn't passive, it's the ammunition for your arsenal. I've devoured hundreds of tomes, turning abstract wisdom into concrete wins, deals closed, risks calculated, futures seized. Cut the digital poison that's lobotomizing the masses. Hook 2, if your phone screen time exceeds your study time, you're volunteering for slavery in the attention economy. Professional sharpening demands ruthless curation. Delete apps that hijack your focus. Replace endless scrolls with podcasts from alphas who've escaped the grind. Interviews on resilience, innovation, and unbreakable discipline. Listen during commutes, workouts, even meals. Let their fire ignite yours. I audit my inputs weekly, ensuring every bite builds rather than breaks, because a cluttered mind breeds chaos, while a honed one engineers precision strikes. Journal your insights, capture those epiphanies before they fade, turning fleeting thoughts into fortified strategies that propel you ahead of the pack. Elevate to mastery with deliberate practice. Tackle one complex skill daily, whether coding for passive income streams or debating philosophies to steal your rhetoric. Hook 3, stagnant minds rot like unused muscle. Challenge yours hourly or surrender the throne to sharper predators. Surround this grind with environment hacks, a dedicated space free of distractions, ambient sounds of focus, even cold showers to jolt clarity. I've mentored men who went from foggy thinkers to strategic savants by committing to this ritual, watching opportunities magnetize as their intellect expanded. Study failures as fiercely as successes, mine my own setbacks for gold, transforming losses into lessons that armor future victories. This isn't academic drudgery, it's intellectual warfare, where the elite outthink the herd every time. Incorporate visualization and affirmations to wire your brain for dominance. Close your eyes. See the boardroom conquests, the wealth stacking, the legacy unfolding. Hook 4, dreamers without daily drills stay dreamers. Affirm your supremacy aloud and manifest the reality only kings claim. Track progress with metrics, books consumed, skills acquired, ideas actioned. Because vague intentions yield vague results. I've built mental fortresses this way, anticipating moves 5 steps ahead, turning uncertainty into calculated triumphs. Engage in debates, seek mentors who demand more, and question everything. The average accepts the world as is. The conqueror reshapes it through relentless mental upgrades. Fuel this engine with nutrition for neurons, omega-rich foods, hydration, intermittent fasting to heighten acuity. Hook 5, a foggy brain forfeits fortunes, clarify yours daily, and unlock doors the dim-witted can't even see. As Tate, I live sharpened, decisions swift, visions vast. Because in the arena of life, the mind is the ultimate weapon, and daily conquests forge it unbreakable. Envision your life as a high-stakes chessboard where pawns drag you down and queens propel you to checkmate. Choose your pieces wisely or stay forever in check. Hook 1. Your circle isn't just company. It's the invisible force multiplying or murdering your momentum. And isolation is the loneliest grave for dreamers. As Andrew Tate, I've risen by curating a network of elite warriors, not by accident, but by design. Because average friends breed average results. Begin this upgrade at dawn. Identify the anchors in your life, the complainers, the excuse makers, and cut them loose like dead weight from a speedboat. Reach out boldly to those who radiate success. Message a mentor in your field. Attend events where alphas congregate. Offer value first without expecting handouts. I've cold approached moguls at conferences, turning strangers into strategists who open doors I didn't know existed. Because genuine connections aren't found, they're forged through fearless initiative. Elevate your exchanges to professional gold. Give expertise, introductions, or resources that make you indispensable, creating reciprocity that builds empires. Hook 2. If you're taking more than giving, you're a parasite in the ecosystem of winners. Flip it and watch loyalty lock in like a vault. Host masterminds or virtual huddles weekly, dissecting challenges with sharp minds that spot opportunities you miss alone. I surround myself with fighters who've battled the matrix, entrepreneurs who've scaled businesses, athletes who've conquered limits, because their energy is contagious, sharpening your edge while you sharpen theirs. Audit your contacts quarterly. Who inspires growth? Who drains it? Prune ruthlessly. A small circle of champions outperforms a crowd of mediocrity every time. This isn't social climbing, it's strategic elevation, where conversations evolve into collaborations that compound wealth and wisdom. Incorporate digital dominance, leverage LinkedIn for targeted outreach, Twitter for thought leadership that attracts like minds, building a virtual roundtable of influence. Hook 3, online noise drowns the weak. Curate your feed for champions only, or let the herd mentality herd you into obscurity. Follow up relentlessly. A simple, how can I support your next move, turns acquaintances into allies. I've turned podcast guests into partners. Joint ventures born from one shared vision, proving that upgraded networks accelerate trajectories exponentially. Seek diversity in your circle. Blend industries for cross-pollination, ensuring fresh perspectives that shatter echo chambers. Women in power, global visionaries, relentless grinders. Diversity isn't quota, it's quantum leaps in innovation. Challenge complacency with accountability packs. Pair with a peer for daily check-ins on goals, turning solo struggles into synchronized strikes. Hook 4, unaccountable men meander. Bind yours to brethren who demand excellence, and inertia becomes impossible. I've held my crew to firewalk standards, celebrating wins collectively while dissecting failures without judgment. This bond transforms potential into performance. Travel if needed, proximity breeds profundity, so invest in meetups that solidify trust. Measure success by mutual elevation. Are deals flowing? Ideas igniting? If not, upgrade or isolate the issue. Fuel these bonds with authenticity. Share vulnerabilities to deepen roots, but never weakness that undermines. Hook 5. A facade fools no one long. Vulnerability in victory circles builds unbreakable trust, turning networks into nations. As Tate, my champions are my counsel. Each upgrade daily, weaving a web of dominance that no solo act could achieve. Visualize money as the unyielding scoreboard of life, tallying your wins while a broke watch from the bleachers ignore, and you're benched forever. Hook 1. Poverty isn't punishment, it's the price of procrastination, and every day you delay mastering it, chains tighten around your freedom. As Andrew Tate, I've flipped the script from scraping by to stacking empires, treating cash not as a goal, but as the game itself, because wealth whispers who you really are. Launch your daily hustle at sunrise, track every expense like a general audits troops, slashing waste on lattes and gadgets that feed the matrix. Build multiple streams, side gigs that scale from online courses to e-commerce hustles, because one income is a single point of failure in a world rigged against the singular. I've launched ventures in my sleep, turning ideas into assets that compound while others clock in for crumbs. Start small, but start savage, negotiating deals that multiply your minimum wage into momentum. Invest with the precision of a sniper, educate on stocks, crypto, real estate, daily dives into market trends, not gambling, but calculated conquests. Hook 2. If you're not investing weekly, you're inflating someone else's yacht. Deploy dollars strategically, diversifying to weather storms and ride waves to wealth. Use apps for automation, robo-advisors for beginners, index funds for steady siege, watching compound interest turn soldiers into armies. I audit portfolios quarterly, pivoting from losers to leaders because emotional trades bankrupt fools while disciplined ones dominate. Budget ruthlessly, 50% to necessities, 30% to growth plays, 20% to the fun that fuels fire, but never borrow to impress, as debt is the debtor's dungeon. Network for insider edges. Those champions from your circle drop opportunities like golden grenades, joint investments, private deals that skyrocket returns, scale your empire mindset, read financial war manuals daily, rich dad think and grow rich, internalizing. Leverage as your lever to lift limits. Hook 3. Lazy learners leak money. Absorb Alphys's blueprints and transform scarcity into surplus that buys back your time. Launch a side empire this week. Freelance your skills on platforms. Flip products for profit or create content that cashes in. I've built digital fortresses yielding passive fire, freeing me to strategize bigger. Track net worth monthly, celebrating milestones with calculated splurges that reinforce the grind. Avoid the traps. Impulse buys that erode equity, scams that prey on the uninformed. Vet everything with due diligence because trust is earned, not given. Incorporate tax mastery and asset protection. Learn deductions, offshore structures for the elite, daily tweaks that shield your scoreboard from erosion. Hook 4, taxes take from the timid, outsmart the system legally and retain more rounds for your reload. Mentor yourself with accountability, join finance forums, simulate trades, review cash flow like a CEO. I've turned broke boys into bosses by enforcing this ritual, proving that money mastery isn't luck. It's learned through relentless repetition. Give strategically too, tithing to causes or teams that align. As abundance flows to the generous giver, fuel the machine with frugality as ferocity. Live below means to invest above them, upgrading lifestyle only after assets approve. Hook 5, a flashy facade fools no one, builds silent wealth, and the world bows to the banker, not the bragger. As Tate, money is my scoreboard, daily moves etching victories that echo eternally. See fear not as a foe, but as fuel waiting to explode your limits, a spark in the dark that either consumes you or catapults you to conquest. Hook 1. Fear isn't the end. It's the entry point to elite evolution, and dodging it daily dooms you to a dim existence while warriors wield it as a weapon. As Andrew Tate, I've stared down the abyss of doubt, from ring defeats to business betrayals, emerging not broken but blazing. Because inner fire isn't inherited, it's ignited through deliberate daily defiance. Rise each morning and confront your shadows, list the fears whispering defeat, public speaking, rejection, failure, and charge at them like a bull in the arena. Visualize the worst, rehearse responses that turn terror into triumph, training your spirit to thrive in turbulence. I've scripted speeches in mirrors till my voice thundered, transforming stage fright into stage command, proving that exposure extinguishes excuses. Build resilience through ritualized risks. Step into discomfort hourly. Cold calls to prospects, honest confrontations in relationships, because comfort is the coward's cradle. Hook 2, if you're avoiding the fire today, tomorrow's blaze will burn you alive. Embrace micro battles and watch fear shrink to embers you control. Journal victories over vulnerabilities. Recount how past pains forged your steel, reframing scars as badges of battles won. I review my ledger of losses weekly, extracting lessons that armor my advance, turning what broke others into my unbreakable edge. Surround this ignition with inspirational ignition. Podcasts of Phoenix Risers, books on Stoic supremacy, absorbing stories that stoke your internal inferno. Meditation isn't escape, it's excavation, digging deep to unearth the unyielding core that fears can't fracture. Elevate with emotional alchemy. When rejection stings, alchemize it, analyze the angle, adapt your approach, advance undeterred. Hook 3, rejection isn't roadblock, it's redirection for the relentless, and quitting on it quashes your quest for the crown. Practice gratitude amid the grind. Acknowledge the growth in every gut punch, shifting from victim to victor mindset. I've mentored men paralyzed by paralysis, unleashing them through fear-facing frameworks, role-playing scenarios till hesitation evaporated, revealing the fire that fueled their first fortunes. Incorporate physical proxies, push through workouts when will wanes, mirroring mental marathons where quitting isn't quartered. Breathwork techniques, deep inhales to drown dread, exhales to expel it. Prime your psyche for peak performance. Challenge collective fears too. Rally your circle for shared audacity, like group challenges that conquer phobias together. Hook 4, solo sparks fizzle, communal flames forge fortresses, amplifying your inner blaze beyond individual bounds. Track progress with fear audits, rate intimidations on scales, celebrate conquest with symbolic rituals. A tattoo of triumph, a toast to tenacity. I've pushed boundaries in high-stakes ventures. From kickboxing knockouts to deal-making deadlines, each fear felled, fueling fiercer pursuits. Affirm dominance daily. Declare aloud, I am the storm. Wiring neurons for warrior, wiring over warrior weakness. Nurture this fire with recovery rhythms. Rest to reignite, but never retreat. Balance burnout's brink with boundaries that bolster. Hook 5. Extinguished embers equal eternal defeat. Tend your flame daily, and it illuminates paths the fearful can't fathom. As Tate, inner fire is my forge, fears hammered into the heat that heats my hegemony. Imagine your days as uncharted battlefields where unchecked chaos claims casualties and conquerors carve clear paths to victory. Without a daily audit, you're fighting blind. Hook 1. Mediocrity thrives in the unexamined life. Audit ruthlessly each evening, or let entropy erode your empire before dawn. As Andrew Tate, I've dominated arenas by treating every 24 hours as a war council, not a vague drift, because winners don't wing it. They weaponize reflection to turn yesterday's lessons into tomorrow's launches. Wind down at dusk with precision. Carve out 20 minutes in a quiet command center. No distractions, just you and a journal that judges without mercy. Review the scorecard, wins tallied like trophies, that deal sealed, workout crushed, connection forged. Celebrate them briefly to cement the surge of success, but linger on flaws with forensic focus. What derailed you? A procrastination pitfall, a distraction detour, an excuse epidemic? Dissect them like a surgeon, extracting the root without self-pity, because excuses are the enemy within, and unaddressed, they ambush your ascent. Transform flaws into fuel. Reframe a missed deadline not as defeat, but as data for domination, noting patterns that predict pitfalls. Hook 2. If you're skipping the audit tonight, tomorrow's the same stumble. Commit to this ritual, and flaws become footnotes in your legend. I've audited post-fights and failed ventures, pinpointing where hesitation handed the edge to opponents, then recalibrating to ensure repetition never recurs. Use metrics for mastery. Rate your day on a 1-10 scale for energy, productivity, impact. Track trends weekly to spot surges or slumps, adjusting inputs like a CEO fine-tuning a machine. Gratitude grounds this grind. Acknowledge 3 anchors: health, hustle, horizons that held firm, wiring your brain for resilience over regret. This isn't therapy, it's tactical debriefing, where vulnerability yields velocity, propelling you past the pack paralyzed by pretense. Now, blueprint tomorrow's blueprint. With audit insights fresh, map the march. Prioritize 3 high-impact strikes, from dawn gym assaults to evening empire. Expansions, scheduling buffers for the inevitable curveballs. Hook 3. Vague plans vaporize victories. Detail your dawn with specificity, or watch the day devour your dreams. I've scripted sunrises with surgical intent, 5 a.m. wake up, scripted affirmations, sequenced tasks that stack wins early. Because momentum isn't magic, it's manufactured through mapped mornings. Incorporate contingencies. What if traffic tanks? Prep pivots that preserve pace, ensuring adaptability without anarchy. Visualize the execution vividly. See yourself executing flawlessly, feeling the rush of rhythm to prime your psyche for peak performance. Tools amplify this. Apps for task tracking, voice notes for rapid recall, but keep it analog at core. Pen to paper etches commitments deeper than digital dabs. Elevate the audit to elite evolution. Share insights with your champion circle quarterly, gaining external eyes that expose blind spots. Hook 4, solitary audit, stagnate. Invite iron sharpens iron feedback, and your days detonate with dynamism. Measure long-term by quarterly conquests, goals hit, growth graph, adjust arcs accordingly because static strategies sink ships. I've turned chaotic calendars into conquest calendars this way. Each audit a step from survivor to sovereign. Fuel the process with pre-bed priming, dim lights, deep breaths. Affirming tomorrow I conquer. Sleep is strategy, not surrender. Hook 5, unplanned nights, breed unplanned lives, audit and architect daily, and chaos bows to the commander who claims control. As Tate, this ritual is my regime. Days audited into decades of dominance. So there it is. Upgrade yourself daily or accept defeat. I'm Andrew Tate, and I don't speak to the weak, I awaken the warriors. Start today, 1 push-up, 1 page, 1 connection. Build the empire they said you couldn't. The top is waiting, but only for those who climb without apology. Get after it now.